Previously, in parts 1 and 2 of this trilogy doco, we saw how my beautiful Enterprise A design has begun her very hopeful voyage into becoming a 3D CGI model fit and ready for film animation. Initial construction of the CG process began with American engineer Greg Blass, then followed by Lisbon-based modeler Nuno Guerrero, who, working with Raul Mamoro, has created one of the best CG meshes I've ever seen for Starship Star Trek modelling. Along with Tobias Richter, Raul would have to be one of the best 3D CGI fan-based modelers on the planet right now. And as you can see here, Raul has done a truly fantastic and brilliant job of her. I feel deeply grateful and privileged to have connected with Raul, and that he has done such a very beautiful job here for me, allowing her the justice she truly deserves. And not only that, but he was kind enough to offer his creative genius for free here. So 1,000 thanks to you, Raul, and I hope to keep in touch with you into the future for further projects. Once Raul had completed the overall mesh, it was now time to do all the finishing touches to plan, which came courtesy of UK-based modelers Dave Donovan and Luke Wilkins. Dave was also helping me out last year with an earlier mesh while waiting for Raul to finish his work on her. As well as some great fix-ups, Luke also had done some very beautiful initial renders of her. And you can see here just how impressive Raul went to work on her to bring out all the finer details and lighting. Overall and all up, there are about 70 detail fix-ups made, some small in detail and some larger in detail. The main ones being the impulse engine hood, the lower curve of the under saucer section, and adding in the all-important plasma vents at the back of the nacelles, which, design-wise, was one of the most complicated design details of the Starship. Watching Dave and Luke at work also allowed me to learn the basics of 3D Studio Max and continue on many of the fix-ups in my own time, which I found both a challenge and rewarding to do. The colour scheme of her was very specific as well, wanting to keep the colours light and appealing and not to be too dark, which otherwise makes a starship look too ominous and threatening. And as a major Trek canon law for me, a starship should never present ominous or threatening, but rather benevolent and peaceful, the very ideal of Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets. Over-detail is a big no-no for me too, when it comes to a good starship design, that I found too much of John Eves' Enterprise E, which in many ways looked Borg assimilated. And when compared to Andrew Probert's disproportioned organic design of the Enterprise D, which only worked well in limited views, you can see here in the fly-around that my design looks aesthetically beautiful at any angle, no matter which way you look at her. And this is what I initially hoped to achieve way back when I first set out to design her 22 years ago, back in early 1993. What is also very interesting to mention is that my design also naturally matches Fibonacci proportions of the Golden Phi ratio, according to Matt Jeffrey's original Enterprise configuration, as outlined on the web at trekdesign.com. And when I overlaid my design to the original, it is quite amazing just how very, very close I came to match the Fibonacci and Golden ratio respectively to the original Starship Enterprise configuration. As one person recently put it in comment about my design, anything that matches Fibonacci proportions will not fail to please the eye. The ironic thing I've found with this is that what many architects and designers meticulously formulate out of very specific mathematic calculations and proportions according to the Golden ratio, I very naturally achieved this just by my good eye for well aesthetic proportions. Final fix-ups, fine-tuning and initial animation sequences of my Enterprise A were made by my Facebook buddy and CG modeler Luke Wilkins, and the starship was finally finished on April 17th, 2015. Stardate 68757.4. I have to say that this project has been one of the most satisfying accomplishments in my life, a real highlight for me, and I very deeply thank everyone who's been a part of this wonderful journey with me to bring my Enterprise A to life. I now greatly look forward to working with you all for many more fun and exciting times into the future, to show her off to the world most well, as she rightly deserves to be. Now, the next stage of production for my Enterprise will be building in the all-important interiors into her, room for room, deck by deck. And if we are able to manage the computer capacity and memory for this next vital stage could well take us on a 5-year mission like her, at least. So stay tuned, people, and Hollywood, as we continue this very hopeful journey of bringing Mystic Spenny's excellent Enterprise A to life. And don't also forget to check out all the latest news by tuning into my Facebook page dedicated to documenting the process of it all at facebook.com/Spenny's Enterprise. And with over 100,000 hits now on YouTube, you can see how it all began by viewing the original documented film of her, A New Starship Enterprise. And on top of that, the latest news over at StarMade is that the team there has almost finished the exterior of her, and she is looking very nice indeed. And I have to say, I love the Lego look. And here is the very first 3D print of her, put out by my good Facebook friend, John Nash. So well done, everyone. Finally, as a rather important note to conclude this trilogy on, in honour of my Enterprise A, and as most surprising as it was for me, when I finished my Enterprise design way back in 1993, I was to discover at this time that Star Trek's creator, Gene Roddenberry, passed away 2 years earlier in 1991, on October 24, my birthday, which just happens to also be United Nations Day, the very hope and ideal of Gene's Star Trek legacy. This generation link between us was in many destined ways for my Enterprise to be the continuing unbroken legacy and futuristic ideal sentimentally shared between us. Even though Hollywood never ran with her at the time of the reboot, my Enterprise is a real future hope and very good example of what Star Trek can far greater become for our future. As beautiful and excellent as she is, my Starship Enterprise A definitely is a design that will see her long into the construction times of the 23rd century and beyond. She is definitely a design of the future. I wish I was there.